Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the Mental Game Gym podcast, where we train the part of your game that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but makes all the difference. I'm Andrew Crone, mental performance coach for athletes who want to stop second guessing themselves and show up with more confidence and get back to playing their game, especially when it matters the most. Today, I want to talk about something that sounds simple and often sounds boring to some people, but it's really important and absolutely massive for your growth as an athlete. And that is reflection. And more specifically, writing your reflections down. So if you've ever had a rough game and you just wanted to forget it, or had a good one, but you didn't stop to kind of unpack the reasons maybe why it was a good game, what you did right, what were the little things that maybe went your way, the things that you maybe need to keep doing, then this episode is for you. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with the fact that we're always told and we always see that we have to learn from mistakes and we have to get better every day and we have to control the controllables. This is all solid advice, but here's the thing. If we're not actually reflecting on performances, then we're basically flying blind. We're just going out there and doing what we think is the best way to do things. We're not actually learning from performances and putting those lessons into practice, right? So think about if you've never looked at game film or if you've never looked at footage of yourself performing a specific skill, then how do you improve? How do you know what you need to change, if you need to change anything in order to get better, right? So think about reflection as the mental film session, right? It's how you coach yourself. And not just after bad games, right? That's, I think, a common thing is people think, well, I have to look at my bad games and think, what did I do wrong so that I can get better? But no, we look at everything after every single game, every single practice. Somewhere we're going to find something that teaches us something that we need to change or that we need to keep. Oh, I need to keep doing this. So this doesn't mean overanalyzing every game, every second, every shift, or obsessing over every stat. This is an intentional reflection. So just a few minutes to be able to hit pause and ask, what did I learn from this? And when you do that often, then you start to see patterns, right? You start to see habits and triggers and strengths and things that get you stuck. And that's where the growth happens, because you start recognizing those things that, oh, when I play poorly, these are the things that happen, right? Or this is how I prepare. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep, right? You start tracking all that stuff, then you have lots of information to look at and figure out what is working for me and what is not working for me. And then how do I change things, right? We're constantly tweaking things here and there so that we can gain those improvements and grow. So why should you write things down instead of just, as I said, just thinking about it? Writing is the next level. It's the level up. It turns that swirl of thoughts into something solid so that you can see. It also slows you down and makes you be in the present moment, right? And it forces clarity. So when it stays in your head, it's vague, right? It's not very clear, but when it's on paper, it becomes real. Writing it down, this is how we are able to diffuse from our thoughts, because once it's on paper, we're separating ourselves from what is on that paper. It's not us thinking that. So if we write it down, we gain that kind of distance from it. I just finished reading a book by Russ Harris called The Confidence Gap, and he talks about when your mind throws you thoughts like I suck or I blew it, writing helps step back and see those thoughts for what they really are. Just words, not truth. Let me tell you a quick story here. So a high-level hockey goalie that I worked with used to spiral after tough games. Couldn't sleep, overthinking every mistake, every goal against. So we started doing short post-game reflections. Just 3 questions and written down every single time. What went well today? What challenged me? And what do I want to focus on next time? Okay, so again, those 3 questions. What went well today? What challenged me? And what do I want to focus on next time? And within a few weeks, he wasn't just calmer, but he was learning from every game. His confidence didn't come from perfection. It came from knowing, I know how to learn from this. And that gives us a lot of confidence, a lot of freedom, because we know, right? Once we know something on how to do something, then we become more confident. It's the not knowing is where the lack of confidence typically comes from, and the fear, right? So that's the power of reflection. And it's really that simple. Can we take 3 questions, right? And after a performance, not immediately after, but find a time, maybe an hour or so afterwards, write down the answers to those questions. Okay, so let's really dive into that and talk about how we do this. Because again, if it's too complicated, then people won't stick with it, right? You won't find that you want to be doing this every day or every performance. Here is a simple reflection framework that you can use after games, practices, workouts, anything. So the first step, and we're going to come back to something that I use a lot with athletes, is the 3 R's. So we're going to come to the first one here, which is recognize. So here we're looking at, okay, what happened? What felt good? What was a green light moment, right? We'll talk about traffic lights, and a green light moment is when things are going well. What wasn't, right? So again, what were some things that maybe weren't going your way? What happened to make you a little bit frustrated or angry or throw you off your game in terms of focus? So here we're recognizing simply what happened. We're just writing down what happened in the game, what plays were happening, how you were feeling, where your thinking was. Then the next step is release, right? So we're writing down now, what do I need to let go of? Right? Was it a mistake, a moment, a comment from a coach or a teammate or an opposition? So here we're writing down, well, what kind of things do I need to let go of? What things don't serve me to take and learn from? And then we're looking at refocus. So here we can write down, well, what's the lesson? What's one small thing that I need to bring into tomorrow? What is one thing that I need to focus on in my next training session? And all of this can be done in 3 to 5 minutes. Grab your phone, write it down there, grab a piece of paper, or make sure that you have a notebook that you can keep all of your reflections in. Or if you're not going to write it down, then the next best thing to be doing is to use a voice notes app on your phone and talk about what happened. Okay, and set a timer as well. Say, okay, set a timer for 5 minutes, and I'm just going to write down the answers to these things for 5 minutes. Don't let yourself go crazy and write for an hour. Limit yourself to that 5 minutes and just pick out the most important things. Now, if you're someone who beats yourself up and compares yourself to teammates, or feels like your confidence is all over the place, which is common. Pretty much every athlete I see does these things because it's human nature. It's what we do. So unless you learn the skills to be able to handle that, then that's what's going to happen all the time. But reflection is not just about performance, right? It's also about reconnecting with your values, what's important to you. So we can also ask ourselves, was I the kind of teammate that I want to be today? Did I show up with effort, focus, presence? Did I bring the version of me that I want to compete with? Confidence isn't built by avoiding mistakes. It's built by showing up, reflecting, learning, and repeating, right? It's just a cycle. We show up, we reflect, we learn, and then we repeat. So when you write it down, you can create, a paper trail of growth, a log of wins, and then also a place to return when doubt creeps in. You can write it down and see how that really helps you release from it, and see how that helps you in terms of your mental well-being, right? So one of my clients also keeps a confidence journal. It's something I recommend people do. And after every solid performance, she jots down one moment where she felt dialed in, one situation that happened where she overcome a challenge, for example. And now when she finds herself in a slump, or her brain is trying to tell her, that she's not good enough, she flips through it and remembers who she is. And that's just like watching, a highlight reel, watching the best plays that you've ever made, watching the best games, watching the best shots that you've taken. That is building confidence. And that's mental armor, because it's reminding you that, I'm not bad. right? Look at all this great stuff that I've done, right? So we're reminding ourselves that although maybe right now I'm not playing my best, this is what I'm capable of. I can trust myself. I can get back to doing these things. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to write one short reflection after every practice or game. So use those 3 R's. So recognize, right, what happened? Release, right? Is there anything in that performance that I want to just get rid of? That doesn't help me, doesn't serve me. And then refocus. Okay, what can I use going into the next training session, right? The next week, the next game. What can I be using to learn from and grow from, right? So put it in your notes app, put it in a journal, record yourself. Whatever works for you, just kind of play around with it and figure out what works for you. But track how you feel, track how you play, and I'm sure you'll be surprised of like what comes up. If you want help getting started, I've got a free post-game reflection template that I'll send you. Just DM me reflection on Instagram or head to the link in the show notes below. And remember, mental strength isn't built by thinking about doing work. It's built by doing the work. So until next time, keep showing up, stay curious, and play your game.